Hi, I'm Pete Holloway. I'm a retired financial advisor and a retired certified financial planner. And as always, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to On Money. Today we're going to be talking about Grow Ohio Valley. I'm sure many of our listeners and viewers know what that is, but we're going to go into some real detail. I'm lucky enough to have the founder of Grow Ohio Valley with me and its newest employee. And from those two different perspectives, we'll be examining things. On my left, Jason Koegler, a graduate of Wheeling Park High School, got a BA at Sonoma State in liberal arts, MBA from West Liberty, and he's currently working on a PhD at WVU in education. He's married and has 3 kids. Danny Swan founded Grow Ohio Valley. Is a Morgantown native, went to University High School, and got a BA in English Literature at Wheeling Jesuit. He started the East Wheeling Community Garden, which then morphed into, we're going to find out about this in detail, into Grow Ohio Valley in 2014. He's married and has 2 kids. And I want to thank you all for being with us. So, what is the history of Grow Ohio Valley? We'll start with, since you were there.
Yeah, sure. Good question. So in, let's say, 2008, I was a student at Wheeling Jesuit, as you mentioned, and was working as a youth mentor at the Laughlin Chapel on 18th Street in Wheeling, one of those beautiful organizations in the city of Wheeling. So I was working at the Laughlin Chapel, and early in my tenure there as a youth mentor volunteer, I got put in charge of the high school classroom. And being only a year or 2 removed from high school myself, and with no teaching background, I was overwhelmed by that task and thought, what can I do to get these kids engaged with something, get them out of the classroom, doing self-preservation? How can I survive this experience being in charge of some high school kids? So I started a little garden. Me and the high school boys, we started a little garden just down the street from the Laughlin Chapel on 18th Street, kind of up under the highway. And then that, over a course of a few years, picked up steam and went from a little garden to a market garden and a kind of small urban farm. We started selling food at the Wheeling Farmers Market, and in the meantime started taking over vacant lots here and there around the East Wheeling community.
Excuse me, who is we? Is it the same kids, or did you get the community involved? How did that work?
Yeah, all of the above. Kids and also just neighbors, people who lived on the blocks. Right, there was a lot of involvement early on. One of my mentors was Miss Connie Ball, Constance Bell, who lived on 15th Street. Let's see, a whole list of names. Neil Bledsoe, Carla Webb, Duncan Waits, a whole bunch of great people who live in East Wheeling. Gigi Martin, and the nuns also who lived on 15th Street, Sister Christine Riley, Sister Mary Alice, Sister Mary Palmer. Kind of like, we just, I think the magic in those early days had less to do with, we're going to, grow food and be a bunch of urban farmers, and was more just like the novelty and the excitement of being outside together, doing something that most of us had not done, at least not in that setting before. So, and of course with the kids still involved, that kind of like got a ball rolling downhill in terms of vacant lot gardening in East Wheeling, and then this kid-centric mini farm, let's say. So we did that for a couple of years, kept adding on gardens, picking up steam, kept meeting more people with different skill sets. And then in 2014, we took that kind of fledgling community-based group and turned it into the nonprofit that's now called Grow Ohio Valley.
Well, that is a terrific, that really is. Now, Grow Ohio Valley, what is it? You've got all these component parts, and it seems daily there's a new one. But Jason, why don't you tell us about what I think is the most public component, which is the public market, which is located in the Robert C. Byrd Center. Tell us about that and what it does.
Sure. I think its inspiration came from the story that Danny tells, and that's that the profile of a young person who lives in that neighborhood. They might not have 2 parents. They might not have any parents. They might be lucky to have a grandparent raising them. There's a lack of mentorship, and Danny knows that the science of poverty, a healthier a kid has a better chance to pull themselves out of this situation. And so during this time, what were their options if they didn't have access to transportation to have a healthy meal? There were fewer restaurants than there are now, and there is no grocery at all. 7-Eleven.
Wheeling was a food desert.
Right, this is a food desert, and so as Grow Ohio Valley grew in terms of its urban farming from this point, and started making really good connections with farmers around the Ohio Valley, it seemed natural to take all of what Grow Ohio Valley was doing and really address that issue, and also create some economic development and reasons for people to come to Wheeling, as tourists, or as, my family, we're a public market member, and we've been going there for the past 3 years. And so it creates an intentionality for our family to come to downtown Wheeling, because we want to invest in the mission by investing in local food sources. And so a grant, as all things in Grow Ohio Valley, as I'm learning, come from mostly grants and the genius of Danny and the team that works there. What grant helped fund?
Oh, a whole
public
bunch.
market?
Yeah. The public market startup expenses were mostly covered by Appalachian Regional Commission Power Grant. The Benham Foundation was involved, and the Schenck Family Foundation, and some other folks who probably prefer to remain anonymous. But we most of our CapEx, our upfront costs, were covered by these grant sources. And in most cases, the pitch that we made to those people who give out those grants is, like Jason said, it's resolving a food desert. So it's healthy food in the heart of the urban core of Wheeling, but also economic driver, economic development tool for small farmers. It's like, okay, we've got the Wheeling Farmers Market, which is great, in the Bel Air, the Ohio Valley Farmers Market over in Bel Air, but they run for 4 months out of the year, and also you have to be there on Saturday, selling your wares, which means time away from the farm or your day job or whatever it is. What the public market offers is 12 months out of the year, 6 days a week, your products are on the shelf, and use that to drive sales to local farms. Also, it's like it goes beyond just farmers, I guess is the point here. So you have restaurateurs or bakers or people making interesting soaps or whatever it is, and it's like it gives a sort of like craft cottage industry a sales outlet, which in our vision not only creates sales at the public market, but also can build a base of customers and build solid branding and everything that's required to have a really solid product on a shelf, so that small businesses can use the public market as a stepping off point for even greater sales, like at the Riesbeck's or Kroger or Jevvia's.
This is a money show, so I'm always, economic development's important, two important words for us. And if you're attracting someone in and they drive into Wheeling and park, they're going to think, well, look, as long as I'm here, let's go. So the businesses around or in the area will there'll be more sales at those places.
Yep.
How many employees do you have? And just at the public market?
Just at the public market, I think we have 11 right now.
Okay, that's 11
kind of
jobs. I mean,
fluctuating.
that says a lot.
And we have both a cafe. It's mostly lunch business, and also the store. So we have staff in the kitchen. We have a chef. We have cashiers. We have a general manager. We have a bookkeeper. It's like it keeps it moving. And I think even more importantly than that is the jobs created and the economic activity that comes from all of our vendors.
Right, well, yeah, because, and the farmers, and I was just going to say your vendors, I don't know who you buy your coffee from, but you're buying coffee, which is putting money into those firms and so forth, so it really does generate a lot.
One more thing in terms of the economic development, revitalization of Wheeling, it also is a piece that might be a tipping point for someone to move here to take a job, or a business to come here, and it might seem like, oh really, but actually we have a real life example of this, like a local CEO who says that when he saw that there was the public market, he said, okay, this is a person who's lived in like San Francisco and Denver, and they're used to like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, and so if my family can access something like that and feel good about coming to a healthy food store, okay, this place is an up and coming place. I want to move here. So I think that there's that piece of it too that is really important.
Yeah.
And the Grow Ohio Valley, I want to talk about AmeriCorps. You bring, because there are always new faces, and you see them at public market or new faces in town, and often they're related to Grow Ohio Valley. and these kids are from San Francisco or Indianapolis, come work here. Is there a typical time of service? How long they stay?
Oh, geez, yeah, we have
Just depends.
kids who come anywhere from 3 months to a whole year,
Okay.
and sometimes multiple years.
Well, that's it, and they come here, and some of them are going to remain in the area, because we, at my age, and everyone's a young person, but we need as many young people here as possible. And
Yeah.
if not, they're going back and telling a good story to their friends. So
Yeah.
the AmeriCorps, how did you get hooked up with them, and how do you do that?
Yeah, early on, actually that's going to require me to dig into my long-term memory here. How did we first meet them? I actually don't remember. Oh, you know what? This is how it happened. I actually worked as an AmeriCorps for a year at the Laughlin Chapel, and that connected me to some of the great people in Charleston at Volunteer, West Virginia, who run the statewide AmeriCorps programs. And one of them came up to visit. Her name is going to fail me, but she came up to visit when I was in AmeriCorps at the Laughlin Chapel, but I was starting these gardening programs. And she actually planted the seed. She said to me as we stood on 18th Street, hey, this could be something that could be your own AmeriCorps program someday. And it has evolved into that. I mean, in peak season, we have 20 kids working for us, some of them from the Valley, and some of them, as you said, coming from the West Coast or, all over the country. There's one city elected official whose name I won't drop, but he always he likes to joke with me about this. He's like, Danny, I don't get all this food stuff you're doing. It doesn't make any sense to me. But the one thing that I have noticed is that you bring people to town and then they stay. And it's like, interesting people who have, they're entrepreneurs or they're involved in the art scene or, they're like bringing new ideas and new energy. Maybe they buy a house and start renovating it, and it's like, because we're so centric around downtown and East Wheeling, a lot of these folks come to East Wheeling and stay there, or downtown and stay there.
And Pete, we also, through our education component, which is part of the Grow Ohio Valley's mission, we have an immersion program. And so that is a partnerships with colleges and universities around the country, like Notre Dame. And in January, we had Canisius College, about 15 students who were health sciences undergrads. A lot of them were pre-med. They come here, they live in East Wheeling, and they spend an afternoon in Madison School and talk about farming. They go to the farms, they're in the greenhouses, they learn how a public market works. And it's usually during their spring break or Christmas break or summer break. And I think there are about 10 schools maybe lined up this year, but there's like a platform. So those are more younger people who have they get the Wheeling feeling. Most of them, there's one guy from Canisius who's come 4 times.
Yeah.
Because he loves it here.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's another.
Well, there's another organization, and this may be way off base, but the Edelman Gardens, who bring kids in. Do you do anything with them, or is that just you're just a different organization?
Probably a different organization.
Okay, another component, Edible Mountain, and this is percolating. How's that for a word? Tell us about what it is, where it is now, and where you hope it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So this is good. This is good practice for me.
This is not practice.
Okay, it's not practice. I know this TV station. Okay, so anyway, it is a Edible Mountain. To get beyond the name Edible Mountain, which I think most people associate with food or the things that Grow Ohio Valley does, it's really a public health initiative. Again, part of like Grow Ohio Valley's like locally sourced food, education, and health. And so, going back to the youth of this community, a centerpiece to provide a setting of nature and a space for outdoor activity. So Grow Ohio Valley has partnered with a number of organizations that are health related to not only introduce programming, but placemaking initiatives, a youth steering committee. They're working on a youth city council. And so they're going to almost incubate these programs and either share them with the city and basically create a mini version of a Central Park. The ideas behind the Central Park.
And where is this?
So this is on the mountain. It would be a long time ago where the vineyard was. So you basically go from Grandview Street down the hill towards East Wheeling, towards Market Plaza.
Very visible from I-70 when you're going.
Right. If we put a Hollywood sign of Wheeling on the hill when you're driving in from the interstate east, it'll be that's the edible mountain. And so there was a $3 million.
I was just going to say, you all got a pretty good grant, which says,
Yeah.
it says something about what outside funding sources think of this.
I mean, absolutely. I mean,
$3 million.
$3 million, which is an American abandoned mines grant that works through the Department of Energy and
Department of Environmental
Department
Protection.
of Environmental Protection in West Virginia.
Yep.
And that is for the reshaping of this land in terms of like trail space, big retaining wall, and basically like a park, if you will.
Is this going to be a park, or if we look up, are we going to see vineyards and trees with fruit and that kind of thing, or is it just going to be grass, or what is the ultimate concept?
Well, okay, so to be fair, there is a lot of design work yet to be done.
Okay.
In fact, that the design is being real-time informed by stakeholder input, which includes everybody from the Department of Environmental Protection in Charleston and what they require, down to at 6 o'clock tonight, there will be a meeting in the basement of Macedonia Baptist Church in East Wheeling. It's just like, so trying to gather all these the people who actually live in East Wheeling or have family living in East Wheeling or have a church in East Wheeling who have, the real interest in how this project goes down. I will say I keep looking over your shoulder, Pete, because this is a beautiful
It's right there.
picture of downtown, and I can
Right.
see the site on this sort of mural right behind you, which I know
They unfortunately
people
they
watching
can't
can't see. Should have put it behind us, but one of the most interesting components of this project is that the Nelson Jordan Center, which is a city-owned rec center, it's been in East Wheeling forever. As far
Well, it's
as
one
I'm
of the most
concerned.
valuable things the city does.
Yeah,
It really,
yeah.
there's
Yeah,
no
huge city
question
asset.
about that.
The Nelson Jordan Center is, if you talk to Rod Lee, who's
Rod Lee,
been
I was gonna say, yeah.
running the place since I was a pup,
Forever,
he would tell you that the building needs some renovations, and also just above the building there's a landslide. Literally part of the mountain has calved off and is running its way down towards the Nelson Jordan Center, right above the Nelson Jordan Center. So this is the lion's share of what this grant, this $3 million grant, which sounds like a big number, from the DEP is all about. Turns out, like everywhere in West Virginia, there were coal mines under this land, which is what qualified us for this abandoned mine lands funding. Usually you think about abandoned mine lands as being like somewhere way off in southern West Virginia in the middle of nowhere. Well, there were mines here
There are
too.
mines everywhere, yeah.
So we have this coal mine underneath us, which is what opened up this funding opportunity to get this reclamation money that comes from the state, through the federal government, the Office of Surface Mining, and then it comes through the state and then finds its way into our community that way. So the lion's share of the money is going towards stopping this landslide, which is like, it's a big project.
Well,
Can involve
any
like
kind of retaining walls.
Oh, yeah.
Incredibly
holding up a whole
expensive.
mountain. It's kind of like engineering out the wazoo, and we got to do underground studies to figure out what's moving where and why this landslide happened in the first place before we can start designing the retaining wall. And then the Nelson Jordan Center itself, which right now there's about $500,000 in that grant tagged to just, windows, doors, HVAC system, paint on the walls, bathrooms in the Nelson Jordan Center, just ways to make it a great place for kids to hang out, which would be probably the most substantial investment in that building in a generation or more. And then also, as we're doing this retaining wall and trying to hold back this hillside from swallowing the Nelson Jordan Center, it's an opportunity to shape that hillside to make it a amenity for the community. So it's like, as we're building that retaining wall, let's get trails built into it, so that right out the back of the Nelson Jordan Center, now you have some nice woodland walking trails on the hillside. And then it's, like, what else can we dream up? It's like,
Well,
can we have...
Any
yeah.
plants you put in, the roots are going to help hold the land in place, too.
Yeah,
So it's a twofer with that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, obviously Grow Ohio Valley cares a lot about food production. And we're already, yet one layer above that on the hillside. We already have a couple of greenhouses on the site where Lincoln Homes used to be. And those greenhouses are growing food as we speak. They're full of winter greens right now. So there's already food happening there. But we're only, farming, per se, about 2 acres in the middle of this 60-acre parcel of land that's just wooded. It's wooded. A large part of it was homes, a vibrant community. Most of those homes were torn down during the urban renewal phase of urban planning and management, sort of a dark chapter. And then on the other side of the hill, there were yet more housing projects, the Grandview Manor housing projects, which were torn down during Hope 6, right, 15, 20 years ago, 20 years ago now, where we also have an apple orchard. So we're also doing, there's already food growing on this property, and now it's like, a big part of our impetus to do this is to say, like, yeah, we're growing food there, but like, what else can we dream up? Can we dream up like kids from the community having a place where they can walk to that is kind of Ogilvy-esque? Where like, if you don't have a car and you can't get to Ogilvy, well, there's these like nature trails you can be on. Can we integrate that with the Nelson Jordan Center and get some jogging clubs happening, or just like getting kids active and being outdoors? Can we have kids learning about nature and getting like the Schrader Center type education programs involved? And these people that I'm mentioning are on our steering committee. That's like, how do we bring this pre-existing expertise from the community? That's Rodley at the Nelson Jordan Center, Molly who runs the Schrader Center, to bring these community assets that we already have.
We've got a lot of resources.
Into down, exactly.
And very deep
Exactly.
resources.
That's right.
I did some research and looked at your website, which is out there, but one of the things I saw were the words backyard gardens. Okay, that's now that I'm retired, you'll find me puttering around in my garden.
Yeah.
Do you all help with those kinds of things for us, that people that, I've got some raised beds, would you send someone up once in a while and say you ought to do this, that, or the other? Is that it's something that is under your umbrella?
Yeah, absolutely. We have within the education wing of Ohio Valley, we have a backyard gardening program where you can go to the website and sign up. And my understanding, I think there are about 30 or 40 clients a year, and our AmeriCorps and our farm team will come out and consult.
Yep.
And then keep, as the season goes on, come and check in. If you have any questions, you can call. And one of the interesting things, I'm really excited to learn about a lot of things, but this one too, as like the season goes, I asked like, well, is it traditional, backyard in Woodsdale, like my house, like, what's the scope here? And it's anywhere from like someone who has like a little like mini greenhouse on a front porch to people who have like big parcels.
And you're implying this is FREE, my favorite word.
Yes, yes, it is. It's actually better than free because we have some money to help you buy seeds and plants.
Oh,
wow.
Fencing, we'll help you figure it out, help you get it done, whatever your needs are.
Well, that would be great.
Yep.
We're running short of time. What I'd like to do is invite you back very shortly, maybe even next week, to follow up on this conversation, because it really is extraordinary what you're all doing. And now, can people, everyone can walk in the public garden. Can they visit Edible Mountain, or is it the insurance companies just keep them away? Or
What's your answer to that one?
Oh yeah, well, right now we have this urban farm, and if you want to come to the farm,
where is the urban?
Oh, it's on the site of Lincoln Homes.
Yeah.
So it's on the. I keep looking over your shoulder at this, but
do you remember the Cliff House, the museum?
Yeah.
So on Grandview, you would park
That's right
up there.
Yeah.
Our headquarters are up there. Maybe knock on the door, and then
Yeah.
someone can escort you down. There's a yurt up there.
I know.
Yeah, we have like an outdoor classroom kind of situation going on, and it has like a breathtaking view of the city, and
it's worth it.
That's another asset to capitalize on as we're developing this whole thing. It's like, we're going to be building retaining walls. It just so happens that if you stand on that retaining wall, you have a sweeping view all the way down to Bel Air.
You're a skier, right?
Yeah.
Imagine a little chairlift going.
Or
up to
even
the top.
just cross-country skiing.
Cross-country skiing. Yeah.
Well, again, I want to thank you both. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we will get you back very, very, very quickly.
Thank
This
you.
is exciting stuff for the community, and I want to thank you all for doing it, because although you're probably getting a small salary, it's probably nothing compared to the hours that you're putting into it, and I know it's got to be really, really exciting. I'm Pete Holloway. I want to thank you very much. We'll be seeing you next week.
Hi, I'm Liliana Hart, and I'm a studio art major here at West Liberty, and I'm going to show you what it's like to be in this program. So my first class today is intermediate painting with Mr. Fensel. Studio art as a major is just about creating that exponential growth as an artist. It gives you a community of artists around you, and it's unique in its ability to curate your classes on how you want to advance as an artist. There's crossover between 3D, 2D, even if you are on the main 3D or 2D track. So in intermediate painting, we were exploring abstract work. which is a challenge for me because my art is never really abstract, but that's just another way that these classes challenge you. I really learned more about my art and myself. I'm headed to my second class of the day, which is silkscreen production with Professor Matusiak. This major is perfect for those who want to become full-time artists or practicing artists, and as well as those who want to advance into a Master's of Arts program. I chose this major because my goal is to teach art in a higher academia setting at an arts college or university, and this program allows me to build upon my skill and gives me opportunities to advance my ability to apply to master's programs that I'm considering and grow overall as an artist. So now I'm heading into a meeting with my advisor, Pencil.
So what I just kind of want to talk to you about today is, so you got a deadline coming up, February 19th, to apply to the Academy.
One of the things that we've been working on lately, my advisor and I, is the New York Academy of Art Summer Intensive Program, which I would not have been aware of if not for Professor Fensel. One of the main reasons I want to apply is because they focus a lot on anatomy and portraiture as a whole, which is one of my favorite things to do as an artist, and I would love to just push myself to another level within that. He really has helped me in curating what I want to create for my portfolio for this program. He's been very instrumental in my journey to complete this process. So now I'm in the ceramics lab, which is in Christ Hall, and I'm doing some studio time. So while I chose the 2D track, I did want to explore 3D in some realm, and you do have the ability to curate your classes, which allowed me to take ceramics, and when I explored that, I found it really relaxing and motivating into pushing myself into other art forms that I had never considered. So tonight is the faculty exhibition at the Nutting Gallery, and I'm gonna go check it out. So one of my favorite things about the professors in this program is just how talented they are. Seeing their work in exhibitions like the annual faculty exhibition is just very inspiring. And they are also extremely committed to helping you reach your goals and assisting you in class, as well as your own personal work. A couple of times I've brought my own work into professors and they have assisted me on how to move forward. Thank you for checking out the program with me. For more information, go to our website.
Hi, my name is JJ Duff and I'm a math teacher here at Wheeling Park High School. I graduated West Liberty University in 2020. Let's go Toppers!
And I'm Ashley Clatterbuck. I graduated from West Liberty in 2021, and I'm also a math teacher here at Wheeling Park, and I teach mainly the algebra classes.
So we met in math class at West Liberty University.
Floats class.
Mr. Floats math manipulatives class. We've been together for 4 years now.
Yeah, coming up on 4 years.
Coming up on 4 years. Just recently this year got engaged.
Yep. JJ got the job here the year that I was student teaching in the county. And then it just so happened that the other math positions opened up at the same time. So then I ended up applying since my minor's in math, and then I ended up getting the job, and then it just kind of happened that we both ended up working both here at Wheeling Park together.
West Lib had a great impact on us. I can't overemphasize how important the math department is to how successful I am every day in class and how I work with the kids. I also can't emphasize how important the education department is there. Both departments working together really helped me out, and they help the kids out, through all of us working hard with them every day.
It did help prepare me for my job here, especially my student teaching experience and how they switched over to the whole residency program, and how now we actually get like JJ's was block and all of that, but then my year was residency to where you spend your whole entire year in that classroom with your CT. So definitely that whole year of actually being in one place, seeing how things work in a school, definitely helped prepare me for this job.
I'm JJ Duff.
And I'm Ashley Clatterbuck, and we're proud to be Hilltoppers.